Okay folks, good afternoon. Welcome to Jasperhappy'S little tutorial on the banjo ukulele. You're going to find this riveting. Anyway, what is a banjo ukulele first? Well, before 1920 or so, there used to be banjos and there used to be ukuleles. This was or is a ukulele. This was made by Alvin Keach himself. Some Hollywood director got in touch with Alvin Keach apparently and said, we like the sound of the ukulele, but it's not loud enough when we use them in films. Can you come up with something that might be, give it the volume of it, but play it the same as a uke? So Alvin Keach sorted it all out and came up with the banjo ukulele by crossing the ukulele with the 5-string banjo, which is one of these. So basically, banjo ukulele, you play like a ukulele, but it sounds a bit like a banjo. Okay? Hope you're not too confused by that. Now the other thing with the banjo ukulele, they're basically between 18 inches and say 22 inches. Over 22 inches, I would call it a concert banjo ukulele, although it's basically a banjo ukulele, it's a little bit bigger. But you do have what they call a long scale banjo ukulele, which is one of these, both made by the same guy. Now this is about 25 inches long, banjo ukulele, but it's played exactly the same, long scale, and this is played exactly the same. If you get it much longer than this, you might be buying a tenor banjo, so be careful, check it out first. Now it must have 4 nylon strings, not steel strings. Some do have steel strings on by mistake and they tend to pull the neck up. Then when you look at them on eBay, for instance, make sure it's all set up like this, 4 strings, got a nut there, it's got a bridge here, it has 4 tuners, adjustable tuners if possible, adjustable friction ones, can't swallow my teeth then. At the end of these they have a little screw or sometimes a nut, which means you can adjust the tension of these so you can make them tighter or looser to suit. Also, very important, where the vellum is attached, or the skin, this is this thing here, it's good to have it attached with either tensioners that are inside or, where's the other one? Here. You can see the tensioners easier here. They're side tensioners, they're adjustable and they pull the rim down to tighten up the vellum. On this model here, you've got the tensioners, but they're inside this rim, this wooden drum here, and you tighten them up just there. That's the best way to have the vellum attached. They do some that are attached like a banjo, like with nuts here. This is just an old thing, but I'm just showing you how some are attached. I would steer away from these if possible. They're very heavy and cumbersome and they're not ideal. And you also get some very, very cheap banjo ukuleles where the skin is just tacked on. They're just like little tacks or nails, brass tacks. So I'd steer away from those. The other important thing is the action. That is the height of a string above the neck, and that is determined by the angle of this neck onto the drum. Now you can always tell when you're getting a bit of a bummer one, because you'll find the bridge has been cut down. If the bridge is lower than ½ an inch, it usually means this neck angle is wrong and they've tried to sort it out by cutting the bridge down. The bridge has got to be at least sort of ½ inch, I would say, and upwards. If it's much less than ½ an inch, they've bodged up the action, that's for sure. The other thing is the frets here. Sometimes they're all sticking out here and they're very sharp. So when you look on the picture on eBay, you can't check if they're sticking out, but you can check that they're all there. And you can ask the guy selling them if the frets are okay. So I think that about covers it, to be honest. So I'll just go very quickly through this again. When you buy a banjo uke, make sure it's got 4 nylon strings between 18 and say 22, 23 inches long, 4 adjustable friction tuners, action not too high, all the frets there and the nuts there, and the frets not too sharp on the side. Now there is another monster going round on the eBay, and it's called a mandolin banjo, and they usually look like this. I don't know how to say this, but I think they're pretty crap, most of these, because they've had steel strings on. They pull the neck up. Now they're 8 strings normally, 8 string steel string mandolin banjo, and people think you can just take the 8 strings off and put 4 nylon strings. Well, you can't. If you want to make this into a banjo ukulele, you've got to remove these and you've got to put proper tuners on, which means sometimes drilling out the holes here, and sometimes this is too thick to take them, so you've got to look out for long tuners. And also you usually find that the angle on these are pulled right up. If you see one of these going very cheap, maybe you should get it, but on the whole I don't like them. Now I'd like to show you one that somebody sent me that they got on eBay. It's over here, I think. Yeah, I just had this in the post from a customer of mine. He bought this off eBay. He paid over £100 for it, and it was described as good condition, nice tone, etc. And when he looked at it, it didn't look too bad. This is it. I just want to show you how you can be fooled if you don't look closely or ask relevant questions. First of all, it's got steel strings. Definitely a no-no, and that usually tells me it's pulled the neck up. Secondly, the first thing when I look at it, I can see the bridge. It's really low. It's been cut down, and the reason for that is this angle of the neck is wrong, and so it's got the action is too high, and you can't do that by just putting the bridge lower for lots of reasons, but it won't work. The other thing on it, yeah, you look that it's got 4 tuners. They look quite nice. When you look closely at them, you'll see the screws on the end of these tuners are all a bit worn, all a bit sort of, the slit's very wide, so you can't get a screwdriver in them. Plus they're all tight, and some are very, very loose, some are tight, and you can't tighten it anymore to adjust them. And I can also see he's bunged in washers to take up the slack here, because he can't do that. So you have to get rid of these tuners. So this, and the skin that doesn't look too bad, although it's a bit stained. If you look around the edge, there's rust coming through, which means there'll be a hole in the skin very shortly. It has got the side tuner, so that's okay. So basically, unless you know what you're doing, if you receive this, this is unplayable. And I get quite a lot of inquiries on eBay about the unplayability of people's instruments. And I can't think of anything more sadder than if you're sort of some granny buying your grandson a banjo ukulele for Christmas, and he opens it up and goes, "Oh, it's lovely, Grandma, but I don't play it." So please be aware of that, and please be aware that whether you're getting a Dallas D or a Ludwig or a cheap John Gray or expensive John Gray or a no-name banjo uke, if it's set up nicely, got all the bits to it, you'll get a nice sound out of it, because basically it's just a drum with a neck, and if everything's there, it will sound nice. There is one other instrument, one other adaptation of it. You do get open-backed banjo ukes, which are perfectly okay. They're usually from America, but they can sound nice, and you can use your body as a resonator. You hold it against your body. But be careful when you get an open-backed one, that it is a genuine open-back one, and not somebody who's just got the back or resonator missing. I'll just have a look at my notes.